Okay, we're still combining like terms. And remember, when you combine like terms, you have to make sure they're like first. And if they are like, you're looking at the numbers in front. So in number 4, I have y's that are like. Notice that 8 is y to the first and 3 has y to the first. So they're both like terms. And then we also have just plain numbers. Numbers by themselves are like terms. That's what we've been doing our entire life, adding numbers. So I'm going to just look at the numerical coefficients in front, the 8 plus 3, same sign. I'm going to add and keep the sign. So I have 11 and then the y just comes along. Now for the numbers, I have a positive 4 and a positive 9, so I'm going to add and keep the sign as well. Look at see what we have left. I didn't mention this in the last example, but let's see what we have left. We have a y and a number. Since I can't go any further because they're not like terms, this is in simplest form. So that means that when you're typing your answer in Course Compass, you would type the entire thing, 11y plus 13. That would be the entire answer. Just like the one above would be 5y plus 3x. The entire thing. I can't combine y's and x's just like I can't combine y's and numbers. So these are in simplest form. Let's look at number 5. I have x to the second and x to the first. They're not like terms. So that means that my answer is in simplest form already, and there's nothing that I need to do. Now what would you do for your homework? You would type in this entire thing into your answer. Unless they give you a little bubble to click and say simplest form, you would type the entire thing into your answer box. You wouldn't actually type in simplest form into the answer box. On number 6, I have negative 4x plus 2 plus 3x minus 7. The like terms are scattered all throughout this problem, so you have to look for them piece by piece. So let's look and see if there's another x to the first. There's one. So I have a negative 4x and a positive 3x that I'll be able to combine. They both have x's and they're both x to the first. So when I look at the numbers in front, I have a negative 4 and a positive 3. Different signs. I'm going to subtract. 4 minus 3 is 1. The bigger number is negative, so my answer is negative 1x. Now this is not actually correct to write it this way, and I'll simplify that in a second. Then I'm going to look for my numbers. I do have a positive 2 and a negative 7, so I'm going to combine those two. I have a positive 2 and a negative 7, so different signs. I'm going to subtract, take the sign of the bigger number is negative, so my answer is negative 5. Now in Course Compass, if you wrote it in this way, they would count it wrong. Anytime you have a 1 or a negative 1, it's understood. So the correct way to write this is just negative x minus 5. This is not wrong, it's just not in correct form. Okay? Now I'm going to go to the next section, the next page on your handout, which is simplifying expressions containing parentheses. Now this is using your distributive property that we learned in our last section. So this is going to be something that you've seen similar previously, so it's something that you should pick up on pretty quickly. The difference between what we did last time and what we are doing now is we know what like terms are. So when I say it's in simplest form, you'll understand that a little bit better. So I'm going to distribute the 3 to the y, and remember you're multiplying. 3 times y is 3y. 3 times 6 is 18. Now we know about simplest form and like terms, so we know that we can stop because it is in simplest form. The next one when I'm going to distribute is a negative 2. So I'm going to distribute that negative 2 to the x, and I get negative 2x. The negative 2 to the 11 will give me a negative 22. And again, that's in simplest form. Now remember, if you just have a minus out in front, that's like having a negative 1. And I also gave you a hint last time that said if you do have a minus, it changes all the signs behind it to its opposite. So if you want to go ahead and write down those opposite signs, you can. If you want to actually do the math through the problem using that distributive property, you're more than welcome to do that as well. So I have negative 1 times 3x. That'll give me negative 3x. Negative 1 times 2y will give me negative 2y. Negative 1 to the z will give me negative z. And negative 1 to the negative 1 will give me a positive 1. Now we're in simplest form. We have an x, a y, and a z, and a number. Nothing is like, so this is as far as you can go. Now we're going to continue to do this and combine like terms with the bottom part. And so when I continue to do this with our next video, it's going to be just like we were doing before, except we're going to take what we learned today to combine like terms. It'll be a little more difficult than our 1.7 video.